This is the future of the hot hatch. Well, that's what Abarth wants you to believe with its all-electric 500e. It arrives in Australia later this year. I think it's time we check it out. You will not mistake the Abarth 500e for any other car on the road, especially when it's painted in this particularly lurid acid green. Now, we think it's going to arrive later on in 2023, and it will definitely come after the Fiat 500e it's based on. That should land in July. Now, what makes an Abarth 500e an Abarth 500e? Well, it starts off with a more powerful electric motor that drives the front wheels still, pumps out 114 kilowatts and 235 Newton meters of torque. Now, there's just one battery option, and that is the 42 kilowatt hour battery that lives between the axles here. And this is based on exactly the same platform as the 500e, which is totally bespoke and all new for this generation of hot hatch. Now, there's plenty of styling changes that help you identify the Abarth over the regular 500 Fiat. And they include, look at this, there's a redesigned Scorpion logo, which is pretty cool. Up front, there's also Abarth lettering, and that's mainly because a lot of Chinese buyers would look at this Scorpion logo and just say, what the hell is it? Inside, compared to the bright, well, exterior, this is a bit somber, a bit disappointing, but that's on purpose because Abarth wanted to make the new 500e's interior as sporty as possible. And again, the Scorpion claw pincer thing continues. There's there's more graphics there. There's some graphics on the center of these Alcantara seats. There's an Alcantara wrapped steering wheel. But other than that, it's very much a Fiat 500e cabin in here, which is no bad thing because you get the 7-inch digital instrument cluster and you also get the 10.1-inch infotainment system. So all pretty good. Engineers were desperate to inject some added excitement and involvement into, well, an all-electric car, and they have come up with a unique piece of technology called the sound generator. Hit it, Fabrizio. Thanks, mate. I think I'll leave it up to you guys to find out if that's cool or decidedly not. But enough of all this fake engine noise. I think it's time we actually take the 500e for a drive and find out, well, what it's like on the road. As I said, I will leave it up to you to decide whether or not you buy into the sound generator. But you know what, on track, it really does kind of add to the experience because, well, it just gives it just emphasizes that you're going quickly. I just wish it wasn't outside. I wish you didn't have to broadcast your exuberant driving to onlookers. And the other thing I'll try and demonstrate in a minute about the sound generator is it's great when you're accelerating and decelerating and driving sportily like we are right now. But on the straight, it's a bit slippery today, on the straight, it just drones. Like you're driving a CVT. Nobody wants that. In fact, I'm gonna turn it off and enjoy the silence. Now, to do that, frustratingly, you have to come to a complete halt. So we hit display, we hit electric features, and now we can enjoy the silence of the wipers wiping the torrential rain off the screen. So it's important to stress that the Abarth 500e has exactly the same components as the regular Fiat 500e. So it has the same motor and the same battery pack. So to liberate the extra power, engineers, well, they actually had quite a lot of work. It wasn't a case of just turning some software and tweaking up the engine. They had to actually take apart the battery and change some of the components to make sure the battery was capable of delivering higher current needed for the extra power. There was also some efficiencies needed with the inverter, and again, controlling temperatures was crucial. And Abarth says, on track, this car, well, it can deliver 100% of the power right the way through its battery range, even at levels below 50%. As well as turning up the wick of the electric motor, engineers have also swapped out the single gear of the Fiat 500e and replaced it with one with a lower final drive. And that means there's lots more torque powering the front wheels. And it just means that this car is just literally so much quicker than a 695 where it counts down low. Now, the chassis changes over the Fiat 500 it replaces or supersedes are quite substantial. I mean, this chassis is all new beneath the skin, but it's around the same size. This car is only around 24 millimeters longer in the wheelbase, and the track up front is only increases by around 60 millimeters. But on track, we did discover some of the limitations of the all-electric 500e. In these sodden conditions, which probably is a bit unfair to the car, understeer really is the only thing you can muster. A little bit disappointing is, even beside the combustion 695 that we were allowed to drive, this car isn't as agile, it isn't as adjustable, and it doesn't really feel like a hot hatch. And that is because the biggest problem with Abarth faces when developing the 500e is weight. This car weighs 400 kilograms heavier than the car it supersedes. 400 kilograms. 225 kilograms of that is literally just the battery alone. And that means this is a small car that kind of feels like a big car, even on small twisty roads. That said, there is a special Bridgestone sport tyre that's been specially developed for the 500e that does deliver impressive levels of grip. So despite setting out to create the ultimate hot hatch regardless of its powertrain, Abarth have created something perhaps more appealing to more people. This is a car that you'd love to use every day, and it's still lots and lots of fun. So the Abarth 500e is a huge step forward over the Abarth 595 or the 695 it will one day supersede. But unfortunately, all its gains come with a huge increase in cost. At the moment, we think this car will cost around $60,000, and that is a huge amount of money for what is still a very small car. And that means it will face some stiff competition from things like the Tesla Model 3, the Cupra Born, and other bigger, equally quick and, well, still fun to drive EVs. But that said, you know, I can easily understand why you'd still buy this car, because you'd fall for its looks, its charms. It's a lot of fun. A lot of expensive fun, but fun all the same.